Alright guys, the watch list for Wednesday. I'm going to start with AMRN. I mean, just a huge move here. And then after gapping up a couple sessions ago, straight down for 2 sessions, this one is back down, touched the 8-day today. This is a great candidate for a bounce. And you could get a pretty nice percentage move with the proper intraday setup. So, AMRN goes on watch. I'm going to throw LL back on bounce watch again. I mean, there's nothing real compelling here other than it's just so beaten up. And you'll notice, remember I said we look for breaks of the early high. Here was the 30-minute high today. I'm sorry, a few days ago. It never broke it. There is the early high yesterday and then the early high today. None of those days did it break it in the afternoon. So LL goes back on watch. You could kind of see at one point today, you could kind of see this thing building for a potential, that if it got over this area, and this is where I was looking to go long, was over the high of the day, in the 30-37 area. And you could kind of see it building, and then it just didn't. Which is nice, because then there's no harm, no foul. It just never gave me an entry. If it had broken the high of the day, I think we could have got a nice trade. Alright, so then JMEI. I talked about this one in last night's video that it looked like it was going to gap up. It did just that and never really gave a clean entry. And the market is pretty slow so far this week, and I think it's because FOMC meeting is tomorrow. All right, and so I think the market's just kind of on hold for that. But I do like the volume today in this JMEI, and it's very close to a breakout. So over today's high would be over 1430, and then I don't know what, like two and a half, 3 weeks ago, it hit 1443. So I like this over 1430, knowing that as 1444 is a secondary catalyst where it might just break out of this range. So that one's worth having on watch. MELA. Again, after this gap up, had a few days down, then a nice pop today. It just kind of traded sideways. I do like it long over today's high for tomorrow. So I like this long over 360. We'll have that one on watch. Could get some short covering there. All the shorts that jumped in on that gap up. Well, the gap certainly didn't fill yet, and it's holding up pretty well. So keep in mind, though, just keep reminding yourself FOMC tomorrow. VVUS. Never gave me an entry today, but you had this nice attempt at a breakout over 3. And then on an intraday basis today, this one was just sold off most of the morning and then ended up closing near its highs. I like this one too over today's high. So 306 should get it through Monday's high of 310 and maybe a nice percentage move. So that's what I'm looking to do on VVUS if it happens. VSLR. I kind of thought this thing was done. You had this gap up, and then it just looked like it was rolling over. And then today, huge move, and this one and some other solars. So VSLR above all the recent highs. Excuse me. After that gap up, I want to watch that one. It's certainly extended at the moment, but after this afternoon rally, it really held up pretty well. So let's just keep that one on watch. It might just get going tomorrow. And this isn't on my list, but JKS, another high volume solar, CSIQ, same thing. All of them were strong in the afternoon, so keep your eyes on the solars tomorrow. The only one I'm putting on my watch list, though, is VSLR. Remember I said I wanted this thing to come back in, maybe retest the breakout area, or maybe get down around 30 bucks, the 8-day. This one, we've had a couple nice trades in this one ever since it broke out, and now I want to look for a potential bounce. I'd like this to come in one more day, but we don't get to choose that, so I do want to have it on watch starting tomorrow. TKMR, pretty nice little volume pop here. 2072 was the high about a week and a half ago, and then today's high 2077. So above that, this one might get going. On an intraday basis, 15-minute candles, it's easier to see how strong this was. This thing just ripped out of the gate and then really kind of held up fairly well most of the afternoon. So, it feels extended, but because it went sideways for, you could argue, 4 or 5 hours, this one might have another leg in it, some sort of red to green entry or something like that. BITA, very nice bounce today. If you've been watching my videos, I've been watching this one, waiting for a bounce. It's been on bounce watch for a couple days in a row. Really liked it coming into today. go to 5-minute candles, and bear with me 1 second. And I'm just looking up the exact entry I gave. I called it at 47.68. So it looked about like this when I called it in the chat room. 47.68. I think the stop was 47.30, something like that. And it was just off to the races. I said to people that missed it, I said, you know what, over 48, this could still work pretty nicely. I said it could go to 48.50 if it gets through 48 in a very short period of time, which it did in about 6 minutes. And then it flagged, and then I suggested if you still have some guys, you could add on this high of day break. Especially if you've taken some off, you could add that back in on this high of day break, and it went up nicely from there too. And still really kind of flagging for the last few hours of the session. So this one could easily have another day or two in the bounce. All right, so that's why I had this on bounce watch. I didn't hold any overnight, but it could have been a nice one. But this one could continue the bounce tomorrow. BIOS is an example of something that I was watching that was beaten up, right? Kind of reminds you that BITA, and then look what it did. You had the bounce day, and you've had 2 or 3 more days up. So who's to say BITA won't do that? So I want to have it on watch again tomorrow. But today was my favorite entry. XOMA, very nice volume pop today. It's been getting nice volume the last week or so, and then today kind of broke out of this little tight range it's been in. So I want to watch that for some continuation. And you know what? I'm going to leave it at that. We will find gappers in the morning to play as well. It's actually becoming one of my favorite trades is a gap play, which generally the buy is in the first few minutes of the day. I used to totally shy away from those, but I'm getting pretty good at identifying the ones to trade and how to trade them. So the neat thing about those is when they work, you can make your daily goal within 10 minutes or 15 minutes into the session, and that's pretty fun to do. So we'll have those on watch as well in the morning, and I'll leave it at that. Thanks, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.